Something that we don't often think about and don't often talk about, and that is how will cancer, which so many of us have experienced at this point in our life, how does that affect our sex life?
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning in again to Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. I'm happy to say that Bonnie Gale stayed over for another segment, and a very important one today, something that we don't often think about and don't often talk about, and that is how will cancer, which so many of us have experienced at this point in our life, how does that affect our sex life? Bonnie, let's talk about the effects of, well, one, even having the diagnosis, but the treatment, how chemotherapy just changes life as we know it.
Oh my goodness, it really, really does, especially if you are a woman and you have a female cancer. So whether it's breast cancer or cervical cancer or ovarian cancer, the type of treatment that you have really affects the whole vaginal area in a really, really harsh way. It will throw you into an immediate menopause. So it's like a tragic way of going into menopause. Sometimes they call it surgical menopause. And it's really super harsh because it's not, because normally when you go into menopause, you go through stages, right? So you start feeling like little changes that build up into like bigger things. But when you go into like a surgical menopause or menopause from chemotherapy, it's literally going into menopause overnight. So you go from like feeling good and everything's fine one day to, oh my God, what happened to me? What happened to my vagina? Like, I'm in pain. I feel like I have a UTI all the time. I'm uncomfortable. What is going on down there, literally?
And the sad part is that it's affecting so many more younger women now when it didn't before. I was first, and I'm so grateful that I've not had to deal with this. I hoped, to God that I never will. I was introduced to this topic actually by Patty Brisbane, the founder of Pure Romance. She does a lot of work with this, and it just shocked me. What these younger women, all of a sudden, like you said, you're in menopause, and if we get it at our age, it just intensifies what we're already going through. So how do we deal with that? And how maybe some people listening are going, well, my God, that is the last thing on my mind is sex if I'm dealing with breast cancer or fighting cancer. But as I've seen and as I've read and as I've heard from people, it isn't. You do want that intimacy.
And not only that, then you're dealing with vaginal and sexual pain and all of the symptoms, of vaginal lining thinning, the tissues being exposed inside the vagina, on the vaginal walls. So it really is important to maintain vaginal health as much as we can, and understanding that a lot of times you might need a vaginal moisturizer to be using on a very regular basis. That will help also keep the area pH balanced. So I want to make sure that you don't use a vaginal moisturizer that's made with petroleum, because that's like putting gasoline in your vagina. Okay, and that's not what we want to do when we're already, very, very raw and exposed. So what we want to do is we want to put something gentle in there. So one recommendation I have is to use like organic cold pressed coconut oil.
Okay.
You use that and just a little bit, rubbing it around, just kind of keeping the area hydrated. Another opportunity is you could use, I recommend a product called Boudoir Butter. Boudoir Butter really kind of helps soothe the pain. It's a great vaginal moisturizer that you can also use as a lubricant, and it's made with like organic oils of cocoa butter, shea butter, coconut oil, jojoba oil, and grapeseed. So these are all blended together, and it's like a thicker, so it's actually kind of more soothing and coating.
Yeah, like you said, it actually coats. By full disclosure, Bonnie, is one of the creators of Boudoir Butter, a fabulous product, which goes exactly to these sorts of issues.
I mean, I have tons of cancer survivors that use this product, especially like a lot of the younger cancer survivors, because there's so many cancer survivors now that are like under 40, Can you imagine not having a sex life for the rest of your life and you're under 40?
No.
And so literally like this, they give out samples. We give them special discounts because you know what? They really deserve to have a beautiful sex life, even if they've had something so painful that really can ruin you on so many levels, like emotionally, mentally, physically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and this is another topic that's very difficult for some reason to talk about with your physician. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, because you feel broken. See, this is the whole thing is like anytime when something goes wrong, you feel broken. That's the thing. It was very interesting. I was doing a talk last night and I was talking about sexual health. And here's the truth. We don't even think about our vaginas unless they are bothering us. You know what I mean? Like if you're going out in everyday life and you're walking around like, are you focused on your vagina? No. But if you have a UTI or a yeast infection, or you're feeling some itchiness or some pain, or something's going on down there that you're feeling funky, trust me, it's on your mind all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Bonnie, what advice would you give? You know, we have a lot of male. I mean, I'm surprised that we have over 50% male audience now. So knowing that there's a lot of men listening, what do they need to, understand? What would help them when, their partner has such difficulty communicating this and, doesn't really know what's, if she's coming or going?
So the first thing is to become aware and to really try to feel into your partner and kind of see, like kind of really look behind the scenes. Like, when you suggest, being intimate, like what is your partner, like what do you feel from your partner when you're asking about that type of thing? That's the first thing. The second thing is that you can learn to do other things besides just having, penetration. There's so many other forms of sexuality. And for me, having fun with each other, this is a chance and an opportunity to explore things that maybe you wouldn't even think about trying because it's an easier way. Like, so anal sex is like something that, a lot of times if people can't have vaginal sex, it's like you can learn to have incredible anal sex that can feel good to both of you. Or you can just focus on enjoying each other topically. There's so many ways you can focus on foreplay. Focus on one day just him focusing on your body and only pleasing you, and the next day you only focus on him. The next time you only focus on him and pleasing him. Don't make it all about we have to have penetration every time and we have to do things the same way every time. Experiment with each other, make this fun, communicate with each other, and don't be shy. This is the person who loves you the most.
Right. Well, and understand that intimacy is so important, to a woman. I go back to Patty Brisbane. A story she told me about one of her friends was that her husband, she was so upset because he was sleeping in a separate bedroom, and so she already felt broken. Now she didn't feel like he wanted anything, and when they finally did talk, he said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't want to disturb you. I wanted you to sleep. I wanted you to heal. I don't know what to do." It was really sad. It brought tears to me. It was just one of those stories that gets you. So communication, as you said, is so important, and there is a way to maintain that intimacy.
Absolutely. Look, your partner is not a mind reader. So you need to help your partner, understand how you're feeling, what you're going through. Maybe you are interested in sex, and you really do want to, have sex, and you really want to like enjoy each other. There are ways to go about it and do it. You just have to communicate that. So I think that communication is really, really important, and it really is key to letting your partner know how you feel.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, Bonnie, thank you so much again for joining us. I'll link to the information, to all of your information, as well as the boudoir butter that we talked about. If anybody wants to check that out, or if they have questions for you specifically, please contact Bonnie directly. We'll see you next time on Our Second Act, Paige and Silka. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching. For more information on this important topic, please visit our website, secondact.tv. And if you haven't already done so, please just take a second and subscribe to our channel. Button's right over here. Thank you.